Welcome to a perspective on creating the future. And if we could figure out how to do it without making things worse, it would be even better, I think. The situation today is the direct result of yesterday's actions. And the situation tomorrow will be the direct result of today's actions. And you've probably heard it said that the majority of today's problems are the direct result of yesterday's solutions. We seem to have a passion for solving problems and creating new problems in the process. We begin with a current situation, and we are seldom satisfied with anything. But a current situation is, some state of things that we would like to be other than it is. So there's some desired situation, and the difference between the two of them represents a gap. And gap is a tension, and we don't do well with tensions. Now, more often than not, when the current situation represents a problem, the desired situation is simply a desire to have the problem go away and have things go back to the way they were, as opposed to look at the situation as an opportunity to figure out how to make tomorrow better than today. But be that as it may, the difference between the desired situation and the current situation creates a gap, and that gap influences us to develop an understanding. We should develop an understanding of why things are the way they are, and good ways to get from A to B. Though we typically, the understanding that we develop of the current situation is not what it could be, which is part of the reason that we end up creating new problems in the process. But that understanding should be the basis for developing a strategy, which is turned into an adoption plan, which is used to migrate the current situation in the direction of the desired situation. And we have a goal-seeking structure that deals with the situation and gets us to where we want to go. Though what typically happens is that during this adoption, there are unintended consequences. As Sengi said in the fifth discipline, seldom can we ever do one thing. So that while we develop this strategy and this adoption plan to move the current situation in this direction, oftentimes we haven't thought to the extent that we could or should about the other influences that this adoption has and the unintended consequences, which typically usually make the situation worse or create new problems that we or someone else has to deal with in the future. So what would be appropriate would be during the period that we develop strategy is actually to do disaster avoidance. So we look for things that would be unintended consequences if we didn't plan for them, and figure out ways for them not to happen. Though what does happen is, you can't plan for every eventuality. So what's appropriate is to develop some type of scanning so that you're constantly looking for rabbits in the grass that are likely to become problems. Though part of the difficulty there is that we're not very good at rewarding people for solving problems before they actually become problems. Those people who save the organization at the 11th hour are usually the ones that are held in high regard and rewarded, and they like that, so they look for more crises to attend to. Though one additional aspect of this is that difference between the current situation and the desired situation, that gap that exists, not only does it provide a basis for understanding, it also provides a basis for a pressure to settle for less. One way to relieve the tension is to, in fact, reduce the desired situation. The easiest way to finish a project is to declare victory, to say that the current situation is the desired situation, so there's no gap left. And we can simply then go on to something else. So if it takes an extended period of time for the adoption to actually take place, it is more and more likely that this pressure to settle for less will diminish the desired situation, and the organization or individuals won't accomplish what they actually set out to accomplish. So in summary, this is a set of relationships that I think are relevant, that we work through to different extents anytime we address some current situation, whether it's a problem we want to solve, or something we want to understand, or something that we want to create. It's this set of relationships, and there are ways that we can actually become better at doing this and I will offer a number of perspectives on that in the future. So I hope you have found this informative. Please note that if you access the presentation form of this directly, all of those items which have shadows, there are comments attached to them so that you can access them, and there are always comments on any of the loop labels, so you can simply look at the various individual pieces and delve into it deeper. So take care, and I'll see you in another perspective soon. Bye.